What's good? This is Internal Sadist, and I'm gonna talk about fight or flight in this video or in this podcast for the most part. And the irony to it is like a lot of people say what they would. It's kind of like it'd be equivalent to how everybody always talks about what they would do if they were there, or what they would do if they were in a situation, or what they would do if they had a gun in a situation. What they would do is basically all this what if shit. The sad part about fight or flight is actually what you would actually do in the situation if you were placed in a situation. So we can always talk about what we would do or what we would do, or all these gangster cowboy fantasies that we have what, about what we would do if we were put in a certain situation. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and you're not finna do what you claim you're willing to do if you're put in a situation. Your body's going to act naturally to the situation, if to certain situations as it's presented to you in your life. So there's not too many people who actually can actually say without a shadow of a doubt what they would do if they were put in a situation. Hell, there's seasoned people that still jump and get scared in all these situations if they're put in a situation, sadly. And a good example of that is a good example of fight or flight instinct is a fight instinct is basically questioning. So naturally you're going to question why something is going on. Let you be being arrested, or let you be all this other great stuff. It's all fight basically. So when you start questioning things, you're basically fighting it still to this. So basically questioning something is a part of your fight instinct basically. um Jumping is a part of your flight instinct. So when somebody jumps out and scares you, or when something happens out of nowhere and you jump or you get startled, that's a part of your flight instinct for the most part. That's your base instincts for flight. And questioning is your base instincts for fight. The irony to that is it progresses on depending on what's happening and how everything is unfolding in front of you. A good example of that is if you're being arrested and the officer uses excessive force, you're going to do one of two things. Either you're going to be startled and you're going to want to take off running for your life because you fear for your life, which is flight, or you're going to two things can actually happen. You could either jump and then or fight back, or you could jump and then or run away. And the same goes for the other side. You can either, question and run, or you can question and fight back for the most part. So it basically plays out either way, no matter how you cut it. It all depends on what's going on, how your body perceives it, how you mentally perceive the situation that you're in at the moment. Is how your body is going to naturally react to the situation that you're actually in. And a lot of people kind of sort of sweep this under the rug, or forget about the fight or flight response when it comes to anything or and everything. It'd be no different if you were standing in front of a mountain lion, or a wild lion, or a leopard, or a jaguar, or a tiger for the most part. It's the same damn fight or flight instincts. It'd be no different because, like, the thing about it, what people fail to realize is if you ask a question and a person's not willing to give you an answer, you're automatically either going to go into fight or flight mode for the most part. It'd be no different if an officer comes up to you and tells you you're just under arrest. Doesn't tell you why you're under arrest. He just tells you that you're under arrest. You're naturally going to have questions for why I'm being arrested. That's your natural progression on how that actually works. Is, officer, why am I being arrested? And if he can't give you a natural, if he doesn't give you an answer, it's your job as a human being to either not comply, or use that to your advantage when you go to court for the most part, and say he didn't tell me why I was being arrested, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. It'd be the same thing if a person didn't read you Miranda rights for the most part. It's the same thing. Um, and the sad part about that is people tend to forget about this whole entire thing, or this whole entire step in the process, and they want to use it against you for the most part. The sad part about that, it's a natural response. You can't. It'd be no different than If you were to go and try to manhandle, jump over the gate and go to try to manhandle a gorilla, basically, shit's going to go down with that gorilla. It's a natural instinct for a human being for fight or flight. The question, if your questions are not being met, either you're going to fight it or you're going to run from it. The same goes for the other side for the most part. You're going to want to, you're going to jump, and you're either going to question it or fight it for the most part. So it's a mixed bag on what can happen during the whole entire situation. Hell, I've known people who gotten arrested and got in trouble for resisting arrest, and the cops literally came out of nowhere and startled them, and they got in trouble for resisting arrest. You startled the motherfucker. How is he resisting arrest when you just literally jumped out of nowhere and scared him, and now he's all of a sudden resisting arrest? Hell, I've seen that happen to a lot of people. I've seen that happen to white people, black people, Asian people, all the people. Like, you literally come out of nowhere, talk about freeze, a person's naturally going to jump. They're not going to freeze, they're going to jump, basically, because they had no clue that your ass was coming. You didn't announce yourself till last minute, so they're naturally going to jump. It's typically what it is. At the same token, I've seen people literally jump out of nowhere and go freeze, and then they heard guns and they just take off running. That's a natural reaction to you literally doing shit. Hell, there's videos and videos upon videos of people playing practical pranks on people, scaring people. You'll either see people jump and run, or you'll see people jump and fight, basically. Or you'll see people scream and fight for the most part. Or you'll see people scream and run. That's typically base nature of human beings. It's basically for your survival. You're either going to do fight or flight for your survival, basically. And when it comes down to it, your body assesses the situation and makes an automatic decision to basically either fight or flight. It is what it is. And the sad part about that is a lot of people are getting in trouble for a base instinct. If something's happening to you and you're not aware and your body's not aware of it, your body's going to perceive it as a threat. So you're naturally going to either run or fight. It is what it is. So when I hear this shit and I see people saying, well, why is he resisting? He's not resisting. He's responding naturally and biologically to what the situation is for the most part. And it is what it is. It doesn't work like that. You can't be like this, that, and the other when in fact you're actually responding naturally to external stimuli coming at your body, or external stimuli and your mind is trying to process the situation. You're going to do the natural thing that's going to happen no matter what, until you actually align your body and your mind to realize, okay, maybe I might want to do this or that and the other for the most part. But initially, you're going to automatically fight or flight. It's automatically going to be fight or flight. This is why people take off running when you hear people say freeze or they hear guns and shit like that, or duck. It's natural. It's natural to actually respond that way. But the sad part about that is your natural reactions to shit can be used against you for shit to escalate in this day and age, and it's sad. And the sad part about that is when it comes down to it, let it be an arrest, let it be a situation, let it be anything for the most part, you're naturally going to react based on how your body and your mind perceives the shit unfolding in front of you for the most part. It's just facts. But I digress. And I hope you understood where I was going with this. Peace.